One of the biggest scams that we've been sold is the idea that multitasking is somehow something to be proud of. Oh, this person can multitask. I was reading the book earlier called The One Thing. Can't quite remember the author's name. But in The One Thing, the author talks about, and he references studies, how multitasking actually significantly decreases focus and overall performance. Because you cannot simultaneously focus on two things at the same time. Chase two rabbits and you get none. And I've been guilty of this myself in the past. When I was pursuing this idea that I had, I'd also try and pursue something else at the same time because I was afraid that, well, maybe this doesn't work out, but if I do two at the same time, then if this doesn't work out, well, then I've got this to fall back on. But what ended up happening was I destroyed my productivity because I was fiddling around with both of them, not giving each one its due time and due focus. And it's also one of those things that causes anxiety as well, because you don't notice any progress when you're multitasking. If you're pursuing two different business models at the same time, after a while, you'll notice that you're not really developing in either one of them, as in significantly. But when you only focus on one thing, and that's all you talk about, you live it, you breathe it, you eat it, everything's about this one thing, then you start noticing strides. You start noticing significant progress over the course of a year, 2 years, 3 years. And it's also important to pursue one thing because to gain mastery, it requires singleness of purpose. Robert Greene talks about this in his book, Mastery, right? To master something, it requires a singleness of purpose. If you're trying to become for the sake of this example, a world-class coder, and at the same time a world-class singer, and a world-class this and a world-class that, where do you begin? There's so much going on. To dissect each and every single avenue and make significant progress in each and every single one of them, it will become overwhelming. It's like having multiple tabs open on a computer. It slows the overall performance of the computer. Even computers, look, I don't want to get too technical because I'm not an expert on computers, right? But let's say I'm exporting a 4K video on my MacBook. I do notice that doing other things takes a little bit of a hit on my overall speed of the computer, right? So if I'm exporting a 4K video, tabs aren't loading as quick, perhaps, even though this is a fully maxed out MacBook, right? But I still notice a slight dip in performance because my computer's trying to do a heavy task at the same time as me streaming a video maybe on YouTube or downloading something else, a software or something. So there's a lot going on. But when all I do is export this one video and I don't do anything else, it happens quickly and with absolute ease. So I don't want you to make the mistake that I made for so long, which is chasing multiple things at once. It fucked me up, man. And it caused me a lot of stress. It really did. Multitasking is a scam. You're not able to do 4 or 5 different things effectively at the same time. Why is it when you're lost in a new town and you're blasting some music, as soon as you enter an area that you're not familiar with or you find yourself lost, you put the volume down? I don't know what it is, but we somehow reduce the volume because we're trying to engage all of our senses. We're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And so we don't want the distraction of music in the background. Right? You need to just slow down, choose one thing. Look, a lot of guys are worried that if they choose one thing and it doesn't work out, that they've wasted time. That's a poor outlook to have. It's not wasted time. You gave something a shot. You learned a great deal in the process. Chances are you're now wiser as a result of pursuing that thing. No experience is wasted. Every experience is valuable. And the reason why it's valuable is because oftentimes it doesn't teach you what to do, but it teaches you what not to do. You learn about yourself when you engage in the process. Maybe you figure out, you know what, I'm more suited to writing than I am to speaking. But you cannot obtain this data, this information, this feedback if you never try. Which is why it's still important to give things a go. Even if you think you're not quite suited for it, whatever, find out for yourself. Find out. It would annoy me to never try because I'll never know. And you don't want to be that guy later on in life, many decades later, thinking, what if? What if? You don't want that question lingering around for decades. So give it a go. Obtain the feedback yourself. Take that feedback and then go for something else. But give things a proper shot, one thing at a time. Don't stress. Does it mean that you cannot do, maybe let's just say you want to pursue coding and then eventually you want to make content around coding? You can do that. But become a good coder. Focus on the fundamentals. Focus on understanding the industry that you're in. It doesn't mean you can't do something else with it later on. But trying to do multiple things at once, it will fry your brain. It's a great book. I really recommend The One Thing, guys. I really do. In fact, just before I go, I want to obtain the name of the author. So The One Thing, the author is Gary Keller. That's it. Phenomenal book. And if you guys would like, I can make book reviews on a more detailed basis, dissecting the principles that are taught. And in fact, speaking of principles, just before I go, the one thing that stuck with me is he references the Pareto principle, which is that 80% of your results will come from 20% of the work that you do, which is why the idea that you should have a huge list of things to do is just garbage. Because most of the things on the lists that we have aren't really going to progress us in life. They're just things that we do just to get by day to day. Throw the bin out, do this, do that. It's not really a list that will advance your life in a significant way. That's why he talks about creating a success list, not just a to-do list. To-do lists overwhelm us, and we despise to-do lists. People see them as boring and overwhelming. But a success list is a list of the things that you should do to advance you in the direction that you want to advance at. Maybe you're taking a course on how to be a football coach. Right? Shout out to my bro Rafaz. He's doing a course right now, a UEFA course. Coach Rafaz on Instagram, check him out. Right? That's his obsession right now. He is pursuing a course on how to be a top tier coach and manage teams, professional teams in the future, right? Whatever it is that you're pursuing, focus on that one thing. That should be on your success list. All the other stuff shouldn't occupy your mind. It's too much noise and clutter. And a lot of us have the misconception that the more we have on our to-do lists, the more successful we'll be. When in fact, it actually starts to eat away at our productivity. We end up becoming worse because our focus is spread thin. When in fact, what you should do is have a success list of the absolute one thing that you should be doing day to day and just zone in on that. If you're a trader like I am, focus on back testing the market every single day and taking a position in the market, if a position is available to you, because it all depends on what setups that you see. But back testing should be sort of the exercise that you pursue day to day as a trader, because it's the equivalent of going to the gym as a trader. So find that one thing for you. What is it? Don't get caught up in having a list of 100 things. Find the things that you should do to advance in your field. The one thing. As Gary Keller said, focus on that one thing. Get crystal clear on that and pursue that every single day. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a like, comment, let me know what you think down below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more book reviews. See you in the next one.